Right, this is an idea I've had for quite a while, and this is my pitch of my idea to Marvel Comics. It's not fully fleshed out yet, but I'm just recording it for posterity because I don't know if I'll ever get to pitch to them, nor do I have any idea of how to actually pitch the idea to them. But this is my idea. In the Marvel Universe, you have the X-Men. And it's one thing that's continually annoying me about the X-Men is, no matter, the X-Men continually have all these, there's this good group of mutants, but there's also this bad group of mutants. And arguably, the bad group of mutants plus the fights that they've got into with, the good mutants, especially some of the plots that the bad mutants have had caused basically untold large amounts of damage and have basically killed, thousands of innocent people. So, in an attempt to try and curve this, you all know of the Sentinels. Now, as you may or might be aware from continuity history, so far in the main Marvel Universe, the Sentinels have always been AI robots. But this has bred problems and has led to villains such as Master Mold, or them being reprogrammed and used as tools by supervillains. So, in an attempt to curb this, the government has instead decided to make manned, piloted Sentinels. Now, in the main Marvel continuity, I'm not 100% sure if manned Sentinels have actually ever existed, but I know in the Ultimate Universe, I'm pretty sure they do exist. So essentially, the comic book, or the idea particularly, or the story, or the comic book, would focus around the sole idea that this is a bunch of regular people that have signed up to pilot the Sentinels against the mutant menace. And I'd say, let's say it's been going, I've had an idea, again, it's not fully fleshed out, but so far I'd say the program has been going for a couple of years. It's been going quite well. It's had its successes, but it's also had its drawbacks as well. And the program is in the moment in a state of flux. The government doesn't think it's a good idea, but it has a large support from the populace, and as a result it's basically being kept on. So that's the sort of the story idea of concept, and obviously the idea would be the cast of soldiers would be obviously piloting their Sentinels, but we also get a sort of human view, sort of a non-mutant view, and a non-superhuman view of the Marvel world from these characters, because I think that the Marvel Universe is missing this point of standard non-superpowered, non-mutant view. And they can also be called into action against, maybe other non-mutants as well. There's that possibility as well. But I think for the main time it'd be generally against, possible mutant threats, maybe even, policing, shipments and things like that. But then you get this other thing of the Sentinels have gone through various upgrades, and because now they're obviously manned, there's a potential here where you can have different types of manned Sentinels, and it can also have, different characteristics, different weaponry to suit the pilot. Now, characters itself, this is where my idea sort of starts to become a bit more shaky, because I think that you need a new guy, and the new guy he's the new guy. He's trying to find his feet, and where he stands among the squad initially. But he's also at the same time character, because he will be asking questions which obviously the rest of the characters will essentially know, but our audience won't know them. So through him asking questions and, you know, essentially learning, he will find out more about the situation, more about other characters' backgrounds, things like that. And again, for other characters, I'm not 100% sure. I think you need, I'd say, a female captain, I think, as leading the squad. I imagine her sort of, well, I suppose that's it at the moment, because I don't know where I would take it. Like I say, I'm not a writer. But another character I'd like to have is, I'd like to have a sort of very grizzled veteran as sort of, he's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. He's seen, you know, battles longer than anyone, but he's always said, you know, he's always refused the captainship, but he's the second in command, and he feels that he's not cut out for leadership. And I feel that a good story arc with him would be essentially him stepping up and finding out that he does have the leadership qualities. Obviously there'll be people on the base personnel, as you know, there'll be mechanics that keep the the robots in check, keep the maintenance, things like that. And instead of having them as one different individual characters, almost having them as one character almost, if that makes sense. I don't know who I could describe, who best to really describe it as, really. Think of them almost as they'd be 4 separate characters, but they'd be one, if that would make sense. Other than that, that would be essentially be my idea, and I'd love to pitch it to Marvel. I'd love to see what they would think of it. But yeah, there you go. Tell me what you think.